I am going to show you how to create a web banner with Photoshop. First, shop. And the first thing to know with a web banner is that you need to make it in accordance to the web page that you are creating. So I'm going to go to File, New, and if you noticed in the New File area, I can name my web banner. And there's also an option for preset sizes, and I'm not going to be using any of these sizes, but you'll notice that there's an 8x10, a 5x7, and right here 640 by 480 pixels, 800 by 600, 1024 by 768, and those are all relative to the web. My width and my height are going to be set according to pixels, and if I wanted to change that, that would be right over here, pixels, inches, centimeters. I'm going to stick with pixels because that is how sizes are measured on the web. I'm going to keep my resolution at 300, which is pretty high, and my color mode RGB. My background content are going to be white for now, and I'm going to click OK. And that creates this long rectangular shape just like this. That is going to be a banner which spreads across the top of my web page. The next thing I want to do is I want to incorporate a logo with my banner, and that's going to also determine my background colors. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to File, Open, and I'm looking for a new logo. Here's my logo that I want to use for this web banner, and I'm going to click back on my web banner, and I'm going to click Layer, New Fill Layer. I'm going to click Solid Color, and it's going to ask me to do a color fill 1. I'm going to click OK, and instantly I get the color picker, which is going to give me an option to choose a background color for my banner. I'm going to go back to my logo and use the eyedropper here. If you notice, as I go from one window to another, the eyedropper pops up. I'm going to click on the green eyedropper. I'm going to click OK. And now my background color is the same as this logo. I'm now going to, I click back on my logo. I'm going to click Select All. I'm going to edit, cut, click back on my web banner, click Edit, Paste. And now I'm going to X out the old logo. It's asked me if I want to make any changes. I'm going to say no. Make my web banner a little bit bigger to view. And if you notice, now my logo started to show, but I need to resize that logo. So I make sure that I'm selected on the layer down here in the layer palette, so layer 1. I'm going to edit, free transform, and that's going to allow me to resize my logo so that it fits my banner. And I'm just going to resize that down. And I'm going to click over to the Move tool, and it's going to ask me, do I want to apply the transformation? I'm going to click Apply, and I'm now going to move that right over here, and that's because I'm selected over here on this little arrow at the top right of the toolbar. It's the Move tool. The next thing that I want to do now is I want to add some text. So I'm going to go down here to my T, which is the text tool. I'm going to click on that. It's automatically in the horizontal as the first area of selection. I look up at the top, and if you notice, if you toggle between the Move tool, has a different set of controls than if you're on the text tool on the bottom. Up here, as soon as you click on the text, you get your text options. The first one here is Century Gothic, that's the style of the text, font style, size of the text, anti-aliasing methods, the alignment of the text, line left, center, right, of course the color, and here are some warping tools. I'm going to just basically click my mouse right in here, and I'm going to type some text. So I've just typed my name, and it's obviously it's where I started typing it. It went over my logo. I'm going to go to my move tool, and since it's all on its own layer, if you notice here on the right side, I'm going to move my text right over. Now I'm going to make a small adjustment to the text. I'm going to make sure I'm selected on it. If you notice, I'm using the arrow up key on my keyboard, and I can move my text up and down and align it the way that I want with whatever I have on my banner. I'm going to keep it right there for now. And now I'm going to make an underline of a separate color than my text. If you notice, my text color is the same color as inside of my D on that logo. So I'm going over here to the rectangle tool, rectangle marquee tool. I'm selecting on that, and I'm going to go down here, and I'm going to make a very small outline. Underline that first piece of text right there, add a little style, and I'm going to layer, fill layer, solid color. It's asking me for a color fill 2. I'm going to click OK, and I'm going to click and select that gray color inside that very first D, and it automatically goes right to it. Gives me the hex code if I need it for my web page down here on the right, and I'm going to click OK. So now I've added a little underline below my name. The next thing I want to do is add another line of text underneath my name. So I'm going to go back to the text tool, and I'm going to pop text tool down here. It creates another layer over here. You can always create another layer on your own by going layer, new layer, if you need to create a separation in the text. But this is going to create another separation. So I'm going to type photography. If you notice, it's the same color as my name at the top, and I kind of want to change that. So I'm going to go to my move tool. I'm going to move my text down below my name. Maybe I want to bump it a little bit over. I bumped it a little over with my arrow keys, but I still don't like the fact that it's the same color as my name. So what I'm going to do is I'm on the move tool. I'm going to go to the text tool. I'm going to select photography, and I'm going to click up here at the top to my color. I'm going to see what looks pretty good. Maybe I'll click on the white. It's a little strong. The gray. Maybe this lighter gray. I'll stick with the dark gray. Alright, I'm going to click OK. And now if I go back to the move tool, that's all selected. So what we've done here is we've added a logo by just simply copying and pasting after selecting it from another document. We've added 2 colors of text, and we've learned how to use a rectangle marquee line to make a tool. If you look over here, these are all of our layers. That includes our text layers and also our color fill layers, and each one of these can be edited independently. Now let's suppose we're ready to put this on the web. The way that we need to save this as, we can't save it as a Photoshop image to put it on the web. So what we need to do is we need to File, Save As. It's already got our handy name, web banner. But if you notice, it's a Photoshop document, and we can't insert an image into a web page as a Photoshop document. So I'm going to go down to JPEG, and now I'm saving it as a JPEG into my folder, and it's now going to be made into a JPEG. And right here it gives you a JPEG option. I'm keeping it at the maximum, and now I've saved it as a JPEG. In the Photoshop window, it does keep all the layers, but there is a JPEG version of this saved. And that's going to be how we insert it into a web page, because we need to have it as a JPEG to use the image src tag.